Hello everybody, welcome to another home workout recorded live from Rex's gym. Today we have a fantastic little workout for you. What you need. You really don't need anything. For the warm-up you might need something to kind of balance on a little bit because there's going to be an exercise in there that's hard to balance. So something like a chair would do fine, broomstick, that sort of stuff. So if you grab that, then we'll get into it and we're gonna have some fun. All right, high knees. Take this time, a little bit of a check into the body. How's it feeling? Are you feeling any tension, any tightness, any soreness? Or are you feeling like an absolute fitness machine? Well-oiled, ready to pop up, ready to rock. That's how I'm feeling, sort of. So today we're going to revisit a lot of the exercises we did last week on the Friday as well, or later in the week, because we made some changes earlier this week with the big 38 and stuff like that. So we're going to make sure we hit all those exercises we've hit last week. There is an option to do the split squats today with your front foot elevated, but of course you don't have to if you don't want to. All right. Hey, Superman. Really try to get that foot and keep it nice and balanced, nice and active, but we don't want to be wobbling on that foot too much. And some lunges. Keep alternating side to side. Again, keep those hips nice and level. I have my hands here so I can feel what they're doing. I don't want any of that, and I don't want any of that. Keep those hips still, even though one leg goes forward and one leg stays where it is. We don't want the pelvis itself to also be moving around. That's why this is also a core exercise. All right, next up, we're gonna have that deep lunging position, hands next to the foot, and then just push your hips down and push your hips up. I'm gonna go 6 one side, holding for 1/1000 here, holding for 1/1000 there. Hip flexor to hamstring stretch. And switch sides. Hips down and hips up. Keep in touch with the body. Like, where can you feel it? Feeling in the right bits and pieces. Is it even from left to right? Let's do one more. All right, lie down on the back. Glute bridges. So, feet flat from here. Squeeze the glutes. I want you to have your palms up, out to the side, and push up. Then do 12 reps. Squeeze. Glute bridges are great to put in the warm-up or prep phase because activates the butt, of course, but also opens the hips up. Allows us to stand nice upright again, which, believe it or not, is a good thing. And 12. All right. Now we're gonna grab our little balancing tool and we're gonna do airplanes. Now I've got a very fancy chair here. We're gonna go back into that hinged position we were in earlier. Hips nice and level, chest facing the ground. And from here we're gonna open the hips up and then close the hips up as much as possible. Open and close. 2 more, then we'll go for 6 each side. Keep the chest proud so the back long. And let's go to the other side. Same idea, hinge position. Try to feel that tension here. From that position, open and close. Is there a right-left difference? So where one side feels a lot tighter doing this, and maybe that's something we can work on with some stretching. Now, of course, you can do this without your balancing tool. It becomes a little bit more challenging for the balance. But the number one purpose of this is to activate those hip muscles. So as soon as the balancing part starts taken away from that, we're not in a good space. All right, so that is our warm-up. Put my little stool away. And I'm gonna run you through all the exercises of the workout. So, magic number 12. We're gonna do maybe a little bit lower. I know it's good to see a lot of the roof, but it's also good to see the actual exercises being done. Split squats, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, sink down, touch if you can, and back up. Now, a good way to determine if your front to back position is, of your step length is alright, is sink down. This should be 90 degrees, and the hips should be 90 degrees. If that's alright, then you're in a good position. If your step is too small, no more 90 degrees. If your step is too big, one of those 90 degrees has to change as well. So that's your split squats. 12 on the one side, 12 on the other side. Then we have your single leg hinge to knee. Again, we've been doing this for 2 weeks. Should look familiar. We're gonna hinge on the one leg, try to get that hamstring to load up, and then drive your knee up. 12 on the one side, 12 on the other side. You can use your balancing tool for this if you want. Yeah. Sphinx push-ups. Forearms on the ground, elbow directly below the shoulder. You can be on the knees for this one. But make sure we're not shifting our hips back. The weight stays on the arms. Or you can be on the toes for this one. Now, love to throw the Sphinxes in, because yesterday we did a ton of push-ups, 100. I don't want to add too much more pressing from the shoulders, but this is not from the shoulders, this is just the triceps getting a little bit of extra stimulus, which I'm okay with. And then we have single leg glute bridges. A single leg glute bridge, 1 foot on the ground, 1 leg up to the ceiling. Activate that glute of the side that's on the ground, palms up, head down, push up. This should be all glutes. Now this is going to be 5 one side, 5 the other side, and just keep going. How long should I keep going for, Rex? Well, that's a good question. Thank you very much. We're going to have a total of 3 minutes of work, followed by 1 minute of something else. So we get to 12 front foot elevated split squats, or just split squats each side, then 12 of the hinge to knee each side, 12 Sphinx push-ups, and then whatever time we have left, we do our single leg glute bridges. 5 one side, 5 the other side, 5 one side. Keep going until the 3 minutes is up. So if you do your split squats, your hinges, and your sphinxes in 2 minutes, you have 1 minute for glute bridge work. Yeah. If it takes you 2 minutes and 55 seconds to do the first 3 exercises, you have 5 seconds to do some glute bridge work. Now we're going to talk about your rest, because we have 3 minutes of work, 1 minute of something else. Option 1 of the rest. Just do nothing, just rest. Look at the beautiful sky, just do a bit of gratituding. What are you grateful for today? Check in with your body and just take it nice and easy. Option 2 is crosswalks. Knee to elbow, knee to elbow, knee to elbow, or forearm, forearm, forearm. Stay nice and tall. The option 2 is if you want to keep that heart rate slightly elevated. This is mainly a strength exercise, guys. There's not too much cardio in it. But if that minute feels like it's a little bit too easy, then you can add those crosswalks in. Are there any questions? No, it works. Fantastic. Get everything ready. You can definitely use dumbbells or a kettlebell on the split squats and on the single leg hinge. If split squats are not your jam, skip them. Yeah, just do the single leg hinge and the Sphinx push-ups, and then you'll just do more single leg glute bridges. Or if you want to stay a little bit higher in your split squats, then that's fine as well. If it's just the bottom position that gives you grief and you can do the top bit, do the top bit. We still want to activate those muscles. All right, I have my trusted timer right here. 4 rounds, by the way, in case I hadn't mentioned it. And we'll get started in 10 seconds. Split squat position, 2, 1, and 12 reps. Now, we've practiced this in the warm-up with our hips staying nice and stable. Nothing has changed. We still want those hips to be stable. And switch sides. The right side should feel the same as the left side. The only difference is because that back leg is working, not as much, but it is working. The second side you do can be a little bit harder, but I'm okay with that. All right, single leg hinge to knee, shift and right. Pick that one point to look at. And other side. Last week, somebody said that they feel this in their calf a lot. You could be right. Well, I'm not saying you don't know where you feel it, but the muscles in your lower leg are working really hard to keep you standing. So your foot is gripping the ground the way it's supposed to. So those muscles in the lower leg can definitely be working hard. Sphinx push-ups. Again, you can do it off the knees. Keep that body nice and rigid. Or you can do it from the toes. And we're going to do our glute bridges. We have about 50 seconds left. Palms up, squeeze the glute before you lift. We're in no rush here. So all you have to focus on is squeezing the booty. "25 seconds to go. Don't rush it. Just keep working the form. Five, 4, 3, 2, and done. All right, your rest. Crosswalks as an option. You don't have to. Now, if you have an issue on the glute bridges, like I did 2 glute bridges on the right that I didn't do on the left, will my body explode? No, it will not. But if it really bothers you that much, next set, just start on the other side. It'll even out, or it won't. But on the scale that we're doing them, 2-3 reps is really not gonna create an imbalance. 20 seconds before we go into round number 2. Three, 2, 1, and go. The good thing is, the harder you work here, the faster you work, I should say, the more glute bridges you get to do. That's pretty good news, isn't it? Now, as we've done in the previous weeks, if you need something to balance on ever so slightly through our hinge to knee, that's fine. We don't want the balance to take away from the exercise. Like, I believe it is important that you can stand on one leg, because that's what walking is, that's what running is. You should have some balance there, but I'd rather have you move through that range of motion with a little bit more purpose, really being able to focus on the form, and sometimes even one hand or one finger, I should say, to balance through the bottom range is enough to just take that stability component from the overriding factor of the exercise to just something that feels quite comfortable. Sphinx push-ups. Or on the toes. About 55 seconds of single leg glute bridges. Palms up, chest is open, shoulders are down. Five seconds to go. And time. All right. Go for your option. Have a drink if that's your option. Otherwise, crosswalks. In those crosswalks, as we mentioned before, we don't want this. I want you to stay upright, chest up, eyes at the horizon, and just getting that diagonal movement pattern. Pretty much a bird dog, pretty much a dead bug. 30 seconds rest left before we're at our halfway point. 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember to set yourself up on train tracks, not on a balance beam. Have a little bit of side-to-side stability here. And sfinxxx. Pushed it a little bit more that round. 90 seconds of glute bridges. Oh, my butt's gonna feel amazing. Really remind yourself to squeeze the glute before you lift the hip. "35 seconds to go." "15 seconds to go." And time. All right, crosswalks or glute bridges. Now, I think I did 5 or 6 rounds each side. So, like I said, doing 1 or 2 extra reps on one side is not really gonna matter all that much. But like I said, if it does bother you, just keep alternating what side you start with on the glute bridges, and you will be fine and dandy. Stay nice and tall. Shoulders are down. "15 seconds before we go into our last round." Three, 2, 1, and go. Fancy switch over. Sphinxes. 100 seconds of glute bridges. So for me, this workout now is more than 50% glute bridge, which is absolutely fine. Now, if you're like me, keep going, and you've gotten faster and faster over those rounds, that's because you're getting more of a rhythm, and you have more time to do those glute bridges. Be aware, where do you feel them? Towards the end, because it's one thing to do one set each side, and it's a very different thing to do 5 sets each side. Can you still feel the glute? Believe it or not, exercise called the glute bridge, that's where you want to feel it. That's why we don't want to go too fast, because I want you to actually squeeze your butt. Oh, 20 seconds left. So if after doing 4 sets each side, you're like, kind of feel this in my lower back. Not what we want. More abs for you. If you feel this in your hamstring, not what we want. More glutes for you. And switch into the crosswalks. Or, of course, if you're resting, switch in your rest. "20 seconds in, we have 40 seconds of crosswalks to go." Now maybe you started with the wrist on the knee, maybe you start with the forearm on the knee, and maybe you can start feeling that, hey, loosening up a bit, and I can now actually get there. Harder option, elbows to the knee while your fingers are behind the head. But again, we still don't want to crunch. 5, 2, 1, and time. Boom sauce. Nice work, guys. 48 Sphinx push-ups. How about we stretch the triceps out first? Hand between the shoulder blade, pull that elbow back. If you can't find a stretch here, see if you can pull the elbow a little bit further behind the head. Make sure your head is not down here. That's also a way for your body to kind of cheat its way out of a stretch. Just manipulate the position a little bit. Just look around for that tricep stretch. And if it's impossible for you to find the tricep stretch, maybe you don't need to bother too much about stretching your triceps. That's an option too. And that's absolutely fine. I know for me, my triceps is not my main concern. My main concern, as with most people, right there, hips and shoulders and ankles. The joints that should have a lot of mobility, but don't necessarily always do, because we don't necessarily always live our life the way that we're supposed to be living it, but we are designed to live it, because believe it or not, no matter how much you dislike it sometimes, your body is designed to move, not to sit still behind a desk. Funny thing. All right, Piriformis Stretch. Sit down on your bottom, one leg straight, the other leg over the knee. Hug that knee towards the chest and sit up very tall. Should feel a stretch kind of deep inside the back of the hip. This is not a glute stretch, this is a piriformis stretch. Piriformis is a very small muscle, but we have found that if that muscle is very tight, it does bad things to the back. So that's why we roll it, we stretch it, and we'll make sure we train our glutes. Because if the glutes don't do the work, the piriformis might be tempted to do it. And it's just a small little muscle. It's not designed to do this. It's really not. Beware of any sort of right-left differences. And while you're stretching, guys, while you're hanging out here, chilling out, check in with your body again. How's it feeling? Do you have more tension to the areas that you had tension to start with? You have less tension there. For me, my back was stiff when we started, as it always is. Feels heaps better now. Let's see. For the rest of my body was feeling pretty good. So this was a good little workout for me. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good workout for you. All right, we're gonna finish up with a deep hip flexor stretch each side. So you're gonna take a long lunge, like longer you would than the split squat. We'll put elbows down, and we're gonna get down as low as we can. So if you can put your elbows on the ground, do it. I can't quite get there. But your idea is to bring the hip and the chest to the ground. Now, that does not mean I want you to be rounded over. I want that hip to come down. If somebody is pretty flexible with this one, should be able to see the knee come up over the other side. I'm not quite there yet. And switch sides. So, big step. Hands down. Push the hips towards the ground. And bring the chest down as well. Elbows about shoulder height, that's not bad. If this shin is about vertical, you're doing a good job. So we don't want the foot all the way back here with the knee forward. We also don't want the shin to be very diagonal this way, about vertical. If it's not 100% vertical, it's fine. Now you might notice that you feel this in slightly different spots than the hip flexor stretches we have been doing. Great. We want to stretch all the spots. Now, that issue done. We're doing this workout as a Zoom workout. Tonight, I think I have it on 6:30, but you should have the invite coming in yesterday anyway. So, guys, without further ado, you're a legend. Don't believe anybody who tells you differently. And I will see you tonight or tomorrow. See ya!